That's beautiful. I love that.
There's so much great stuff in here, and you signed it. Yes.
Yep.
But I mean, this is like the sign of a well-loved book. It's fabulous. Absolutely fabulous.
I'm so glad to see that. I mean, I wrote this book so that it would be useful for people. And so I'm so glad when people are actually using it.
Yeah, and it's funny because I know you had done a series of posts kind of giving out each one of those tips. And then when you put it all in the book, and it's like, there's some really good stuff in there. And so when I'm feeling stuck, I'll go in here and I'll say, okay, oh, look at this. Here's something. I love how you have it set up for extra credit and homework. It's just a really, I'd say, a hands-on workbook. So well done, Josh.
Thank you so much. I'm glad you're enjoying it. You
inspired me. Here's my book. I published it, but I don't have all the yellow Post-it things in there. But I had a question for you before you start this. You had, there was a post where you gave away 10 copies of your book. Did you find that effective? Because I'm at a point where it's a year old and I've got 27 reviews and I'm like stuck. It's like, what do you think?
It has been effective for me. And I've done it a couple of times. I've done it with my audiobook because Audible gives you a bunch of credits to give away. And then I've done it with the print book as well. I've done it with the Kindle book a bunch of times, or I'll just take a PDF of the book and I'll send that to people. And I've done it a number of different ways. I can't remember which way is best, or really, if any one, which way was the best. But every single time it's been great in that it gets the word out there. I like limiting it to 10 because then people are in a hurry to respond to the post, and that feeds into the LinkedIn algorithm and gets some virality going. So I love doing it, but I love doing it with a PDF or free credits that I get, because then I don't have to ship out the books. And it's not so much the cost, but the hassle of shipping, I've realized, is such a time suck.
Yeah.
Especially with international stuff. If you ever do a giveaway, make sure to, where you're actually shipping stuff out, make sure to say, I'm only sending this to you if you're in the continental United States or North America or something like that. Because when I did my crowdfunding campaign for this book, I got a bunch of people in China and Africa and India and all over the world who put funding into it. And then when I actually got the book, I had to send it to these people. I just got one back this week from China that I mailed out 6 months ago. It just came back to me. And so it's such a pain when you have to ship out a bunch of books international, and it cost me like $40 to ship it there, and then it got returned. And so it's like, now I've got somebody who's been waiting for 6 months. I just spent $40. Now I have to figure out how to reship it to them and all this stuff. It's just like, I should have restricted that to North America only. Would have been so much easier.
And you're saying the PDF copy, do you say that I'll send you the digital copy of the book? The first 10 people that respond will get a digital copy, or?
I'll say that in the actual post. So I'll do a LinkedIn post and I'll say, I'm giving away 10 copies of my book. Yeah. And this is to the first 10 people who respond below. It's a digital copy, and I will direct message you your digital download when you respond. And I'll do it that way. And that way people respond quickly. Their expectations are set the right way. And all I have to do is send them that PDF book. It doesn't cost me a dime, just takes a few minutes.
Okay. All right. Well, sorry to hog the group while we were getting ready for everyone to get on board here. So,
no, this is what the group's for. Everybody jumps in and hogs it as they want. So
just having you here, it's like, oh.
No, it's all good. Jean, hello. Hi, Catherine. Hi. Let's see. And Haley. Haley's my assistant, by the way, on this. So she's in the background, muting, unmuting people. Hi, Haley. Haley's also the one who gets to deal with a lot of the addresses and the hassle of shipping behind the scenes. So I had to hire her just to figure out how to get all these books shipped.
Oh, gosh. I saw your picture when you had that what was the kid? Would you have like 1,000 books come in or something? You had a picture. It's just like, oh, that's a lot of books.
Yep. It's the funny thing about that is I've got all these books on a pallet out in the garage, and I still have about half this pallet left. And one of my daughters the other day was saying, Dad, you're not very good at selling books. You've got all these books still sitting in the garage. And I said, no, these are not the books that go on Amazon or people buy. Like, these are the ones I give to people, that I sell to people. And she's like, oh, okay. I thought nobody wanted your book. I was like, no, those are different books sitting in the garage.
Oh gosh. Well, kids are very, they're very, what's the word? You know, like they see something and they say it like it is. Like, this is what it appears like. Dad, you're buying your own books.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
boy.
I hope I can get rid of those books soon, by the way. There are a lot of authors who have pallets of books in their garages, I'm afraid.
Oh boy. Yeah. Yeah. It happens. What made you go hardcover on the book?
Because it's a business book, I wanted to release a hardcover, and I also wanted to get the experience, because there have been a lot of changes in the ability of self-published authors to do hardcover in just the past few years, even the past few months. And so I wanted to try it out, see how it works, try out the different systems for it. And so, for example, you can self-publish through Barnes and Noble now, and they will do hardcover books. The funny thing is, okay, so to back up a little bit and talk about the industry. So there's one company out there called Ingram, also known as Ingram Spark. And Ingram basically is the 800-pound gorilla in the self-publishing industry in terms of printing books, physical delivery, physical copies of books. And so I knew I wanted to try out hardcover through Ingram, but Barnes and Noble came out with hardcover. So I thought, well, I'm going to see what it takes to do a hardcover through Barnes and Noble. I'll test that against Ingram Spark, and I'll see which is better. And I ordered books from both places, and I got the books. They are the exact same book. So I know Ingram is doing fulfillment for Barnes and Noble. I mean, the cover, the paper, every single tiny little detail is exactly the same. So I know they're being printed in the same place. So Barnes and Noble is really just getting their fulfillment on self-publishing through Ingram. So I figured, well, I might as well be working straight with the source at Ingram. Plus, it's actually a lot cheaper to do hardcover through Ingram. But so Barnes and Noble, I do have a hardcover selling there. It's set up directly through Barnes and Noble, so it's print on demand through Barnes and Noble. And then I have Ingram has a subsidiary called Lightning Spark. If you do a lot more volume meaning like multiple books. So it's really set up kind of for like small publishers, publishing houses. You can set up through this company called Lightning Spark. You get a little bit better service, a little bit faster. You get some price breaks. And so I set that up because I do plan to publish other people's books as well. And I set up through that. And so that is where the hardcover books come that are on Amazon. It's just, there's a direct connection between Ingram and Amazon. So Amazon can essentially print on demand hardcover through Ingram. You can also do hardcover through Amazon directly, but it's the kind of cover that doesn't have a jacket. It's like printed on the cover, like the cover art is on the cover, which is great for like kids' books and stuff, like Diary of a Wimpy Kid or something. That's how their books are printed. But for a business book, it's kind of weird.
You want a jacket?
All right, so that's my deep dive into self-publishing printing, and you probably didn't want to know all that, but.
Oh boy. Well, that's great. Thank you.
All right. Well, Catherine, Jean, you guys got any questions for me today? Oh, and I see that Olu jumped on as well. Olu, feel free to turn your camera on if you want, but you don't have to.
Josh, I just have a quick question. Right now, I'm still building up my audience. I'm getting some ideas. I'm getting lots of good feedback. But my only small question is, where do I find the workbook that you wrote in your email? It said your workbook is ready and it's in Word form. I probably am overlooking it somewhere, but I can't find it. So is there a link somewhere that I'm just not looking in the right place?
Here, I'll just put it in the chat right now.
Is this the 200-page workbook?
It's like, yeah, it's more than that, actually.
Did you post it in your email? Did I just not looking in the right place?
No, it's I'm sure there's a link to it in the group somewhere. I can't remember exactly where it is, but it's in there.
Okay, well, if you
Um,
direct me, I'll look for it, but I looked in Facebook and I looked under several of the different headings, but I'm,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah, it's there. This is still the unfinished version, though. It's not finished. It's still the 90% finished version.
Yeah, but I'm so much at the very, very, very front end that I thought anything that's in there, even if it's not finished, it will be very relevant for me. So thank you for putting that together. So, because I've got all the original little pieces and chapters and bits and butts. So to have it together in one document is very helpful. Thank you.
Great. Yeah. And when I say it's 90% finished, the front part of it, it's really kind of the first 90% is finished. It's the last 10% that I haven't finished. I'm sure the whole thing could use a once over in terms of editing, but if you're starting at the beginning, the first 70, 80%, you're going to find a finished workbook in those parts. It's once you get to the very end and I start talking about Amazon ads and stuff like that, that's where I have to wrap things up.
Okay, and like I said, not even close, but thank you very much.
Great. I'll try to stay ahead of you and finish it before you get there.
Oh my goodness, you have a lot of time yet. But anyway, this is great. I appreciate the conversation. It's always inspiring. So thank you.
Great. Gene, how are things going for you?
Hey, Josh. Just want to give you a quick feedback since I've been joining these calls when I was the only one and you were just working out the bugs. When I clicked the link in your email, I went to the webinar. I had to re-find this link in the Facebook group, which means that people who are trying to get here from your email are probably going to the webinar.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened because when I clicked on the link in the email too, but it took me here to the meeting. So,
well, you know, we first connected on the webinar and I used the link from the email.
yeah, well, yeah. And I went into the webinar because I just went in Zoom. You know how Zoom shows your meetings? I just clicked on that because I have it scheduled. By the way, Haley, would you mind going into Zoom and deleting the webinar so I don't accidentally end up in that room again? Because that's what happened this time. And then we just
And
make sure
I
that
ended up in
is
that
recurring.
room from clicking the link somehow. So I don't know if your account has your meetings and your webinars, if they have the same link. That's
It should be
possible.
the same link in the email as in Facebook. So I'm not sure what happened, but
Yeah, I just
we're
wanted
here
to share
now and
that
we'll figure
feedback
it out for next
with
week.
Haley that I had to find the correct link because I
Yeah.
clicked the link in the email and I kept on waiting for the host to start the meeting. And then I went into the Facebook group and clicked the meeting in there and it took me to this session. So that's just feedback for helping you work out the kinks as you fire these things back up.
Thanks. We'll get it worked out. There's always some sort of technical difficulty, it seems.
Yeah, so I guess I do have a question that's more about the 7 systems of influence than the actual publishing.
Sure.
And I'll just throw it out there. So I recently got hired or approved and vetted to be a cross-cultural trainer for a very large platform called Global LT. And obviously they want me to be one of their trainers for anything related to China. My question is on positioning yourself and pricing yourself. So when we had the initial conversation, I said my hourly rates were $500 an hour, which is what I charge for personal coaching or executive coaching. And then they came up with something that where they wanted me to help with the Chinese New Year's training for employees, where all the PPTs are created. And since I wanted to start a relationship with them, they asked me if I had any flexibility in my rate. And I basically said, to get started, I'm willing to work within your budget. And they said, oh, great, thanks. And then they came back and they're basically saying, this is like $50 an hour, which is 10% of what my cost would be, which I don't necessarily mind if it's a way for me to leverage their platform to actually reach more people, because in their backend system, you can actually indicate what types of training you do, what types of programs you do, and they're really a large platform as far as intercultural training. So I just want to know your thoughts about, it wasn't even a negotiation. It was me basically saying I could almost do a pro bono just to get the ball rolling and start collaborating with you, because you guys have no idea about my training. And in this case, you're giving me pre-packaged training that I just have to deliver for an hour online. So what are your thoughts on that as far as 7 systems of influence and pricing myself and negotiating with a new platform?
Yeah, if I were you, I'd probably just do it pro bono and just say, you know what, let me give you 2 hours, 5 hours, whatever you're inclined to give, and let me do it for free. But I don't work for that cheap, because I feel like if you're asking 500 and then you're willing to do it for 50, I feel like that cheapens your brand. Whereas if you say, I'll give you a couple of free hours, that doesn't cheapen your brand, but you still get the chance to prove yourself.
Yeah, so that would have been a great thing to say at the beginning, but what I did instead of that is that I said, since we haven't worked together yet, I'm willing to work within your budget. And they just came directly back with, that's great. We could pay you $50 an hour for this gig.
Yeah, I'd still go back and I would just be like, you know what? Yeah, I don't work for that cheap. Let me just give you a few free hours instead. And then if you want to continue, it's $500 an hour. But let me prove my value, and then it's $500 an hour. And I would hold to that.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's what I was thinking about doing. It's just, it's hard. It might be hard to actually demonstrate my value because they've already created all the PPTs, and it's just so basic stuff where my value goes much beyond what they're trying to teach a group of people who know nothing about Chinese culture, some of the traditions about Chinese New Year. So it's like it's not even a great opportunity to demonstrate value unless we really get into Q&A.
Well, so is this really your ideal audience? Is this really a client that you want?
Well, I don't know who the client is. I do want to be a part of the platform, because the platform will provide this type of training and keynote speaking appearances for a lot of companies, including a lot of Fortune 500 companies. So,
okay, gotcha.
So I don't actually know who the client is. It's just some client wants to do some events before Chinese New Year's for their employees. Yeah.
Yeah. So I misunderstood. So that's a little bit different than I was thinking. I mean, this is kind of, to make a comparison, this is like if you were starting on Upwork as a freelancer and you had 0 clients, 0 ratings, and you just need to get some clients and ratings up there and some experience on the platform, right?
Yeah, similar. When I offered to work within their budget, my thinking was, if I become, because they have kind of like a repertoire or a list of intercultural trainers that all of their clients can see and select whoever their clients are. All the scheduling is done through their system. So it's not like, everything is ad hoc where they call you and say, hey, do you want to do this? And there's no system. They have a massive system in place. All of your quote unquote bookings are in a calendar in their custom system. It's not like it's in a Zoom system. It's in their backend platform that you can see is very sophisticated. So I just want to be a part of the platform.
If you just want to be part of the platform, then I don't see any harm in taking the $50 or whatever they offer you. It might be worth it if there's somebody you can talk to there, it might be interesting to ask them, hey, I'll do this for $50 because I'm just trying to get onto your platform and get some experience and build up some credibility here. But what's the path from 50 to 500 an hour? Because 500 an hour is my normal rate. And I'm only doing this so that I can get there. If you feel like there's somebody you could have that conversation with, that would be interesting to know what they say.
Yeah, actually, I'm having that conversation probably in about 35 minutes right after this call, because the person who is kind of onboarding me for this quote unquote gig, which they actually want to replicate 3 times, twice this week and once next week, is getting on a Zoom call with me right after this call. So I just wanted to kind of get your thoughts on, positioning and branding and stuff like that.
Got it. How's everything coming with book stuff?
Well, it's like I told you last time, after publishing my first book, I feel my ability to write has dramatically improved. I'm slowly trying to build a book army, which is one of the things that you suggested. I'm doing that through offering a group of people who have been attending my meetup events and my live keynote experiences who are interested in what I talk about, giving them an opportunity to be co-authors like you did. And so I've started a Facebook community. At the next event, I'll start bringing people into the group who are interested, and then I'll start collaborating with a group of people who will eventually be part of my book army because their names are on the books.
Cool. So anything else I can help you with today?
No, I just wanted to kind of support these calls and help you work out the kinks. And, as soon as we get a lot of other people in here and more activity in the Facebook group, I think everybody will get more value out of the community.
Yeah, for sure. By the way, so you remember I said I was going to offer it for free for January. So I did that last week and 40 people signed up. So hopefully we'll be getting more and more people here on the call. I was expecting more people to show up to the call today since we just had 40 people sign up, but whether that link didn't work or some people may not have gotten the email or seen it in the Facebook group. We'll see what we can do to get more people in here.
Yeah, based on my experience, I saw the welcome message, but based on my experience, there is a probability that the email link of all the people who signed up was sending them to the webinar. You may want to have Haley log into the webinar, see if anybody's waiting there.
Well, it'll kick me out of this one or something, but
oh yeah, that's the problem. It's all on. You have a webinar and a meeting linked to the same
account.
Same account.
Yeah, but it's all good. We'll figure this stuff out. I'm just getting too old for these tech things like Zoom, I guess.
Yeah. Another kind of thing that I've done to avoid having multiple meetings used in the same account, I always use a unique meeting number, which you can schedule in Zoom. You don't have to use your account number. You can use a unique number so people don't know your personal Zoom number.
Yeah, which I think is what we're using on this. I'm pretty sure, but I got to take another look at that just to make sure. Great. Well, let's see. Olu, if you just want to listen in, Olu, that's great. If you want to turn your camera on, if you want to talk to us, that's fine too. You don't have to show your face if you don't want to, but if you've got questions, we'd love to answer them.
Okay. Hello. Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay. Hello, Josh. I apologize. My camera is off. I'm in Nigeria, and right now we're having a power outage, so that's why I can't. There's really no point putting it on right now.
No worries.
Okay. Thanks. I joined. I saw your mail about the free month, so that's how I got here. And I followed the link in the mail, and so I took some time to get here because I thought I was waiting to be added to the Facebook group. I didn't see the link to the Facebook group on time, just about a few minutes before this call.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I checked through my mails and I saw this link, so I was able to join in the Zoom call. So I'm glad to be here. I'm new to this to book publishing, and also I just want to know. It's something I've been considering going into in 2023, and then I saw your offer, so I just jumped on it.
Cool.
And
so are you looking to write a book then?
No, not at the moment, but I'm looking to offer to help others write books. Basically, I have a few people. I have some experts, so to speak, that I'm among my friends and my those are in my community, but they are not. They're trying to position themselves, and I feel like this I feel there's enough of them that's helping write books would be helping them write books would be useful. Let me put it that way. It would learning what you have to offer, learning what you do would help them write their books. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
I think so. So were you able to download the copy of the workbook that I have?
No, I haven't seen it yet. I tried to do so. I will have to verify that on my PC. I tried to do so, but I haven't seen it.
So if you look in the chat right now for the Zoom, the link is in there to the workbook and you can download that. It's just a Google Doc, so you can add it to your own account. But if you download that, please feel free to use that any way that you see fit. You can send that to other people. You can do whatever you want with it other than publish it on Amazon and say it's your own. But you can do whatever you want with that workbook. Send it to as many people as you want. It's a free resource. It will always be a free resource. And so please feel free to share that and use it any way that you want if you're going to be helping other people with their books.
Okay. All right. Good. I'll save the link.
I referred somebody
So-
to you, Josh. I referred, I gotta find her name, but I referred her to you. to
Oh,
your
great.
program.
Thank you, Judy.
So other than that, I'm an absolute newbie. So I actually don't even know where to start really. I think
We'll
the
start with
workbook, I'll look
start
at
with the
workbook.
workbook. The workbook is the
Okay.
place to start. If you don't know where to start, check out the workbook and just start at the beginning and start working your way through it, or at least start
Okay.
looking through it.
All right, I'll do that. Thank you very much.
Yeah. By the way, I just saw Daniel Wong jump on here for like 3 seconds and then he jumped off. I don't know where he went, but that was a face I haven't seen in a little while, but not sure if he had an issue or something. Oh, he's back. Hello, Daniel. I see your icon there. And
Into the account.
there we
Use it
go.
if you want to jump into Realm
Hey, Daniel, how you doing? I just saw you jump in.
for dashboards. You're going to jump in that way. Or by default, I wanted to go to a
I'm
particular.
not sure if Daniel's hearing me though, so.
Yes.
Time zone.
Oh.
Hi, Josh.
You don't do
Hi,
that.
Daniel, how you
Long
doing?
time no see. We're both
Yeah.
in North America now.
Time zone, you can change it. So that
Yeah,
it's
where are you at?
correct.
I'm exiled in Toronto until Hong Kong improves. That's where we met many times.
But of course, on your
Yep.
mobile device, it does.
Yeah, Hong Kong went a little bit crazy during this whole COVID stuff, so.
Well, the whole world's crazy. That's why we got to
True.
write books about it.
Yeah, well, how are you doing? Catch me up on things.
Yep. It's good. It's just being in exile, not being able to get back to Hong Kong in a timely manner. I started jotting notes, and I've got enough notes together to maybe get 2 books out on intercultural knowledge and skills.
Great. You should talk to Gene since he's working on that stuff too. But so
Gene?
when you say intercultural skills and such, is that with a focus on Hong Kong or Asia, or what's the focus?
More of a Hong Kong base. And what I was thinking about doing is East and West, more like East and English speaking country versus China, like really getting down. Too many books are too general. So, this is a book that's, more specific because during my coaching time, there were people who read general knowledge intercultural books, but they were just too general for the region.
Got it. Well, yeah, you should definitely talk to Gene a bit since he's got experience in that field with China and writing books on a similar topic.
Mhm.
So definitely, Gene, have you ever talked with Daniel before about this?
We've talked online, at his events a few times.
Yeah.
Yeah, Daniel, hi, it's Gene. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah,
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Yeah, Josh, Daniel has been present at some of my events, so he's seen me in action. And
Great.
Yeah, we're all aware of each other's existence.
Uh-huh.
yeah, we haven't spoken in a while. I've been hosting a whole new series of events.
Yeah.
You're probably still on my email list. I'm also offering people who want to learn more about or just want to contribute an opportunity to be a co-author or a contributor on my next book, which is entitled Exactly What to Say in China.
Or what
So
not to say.
exactly. So the title of the book is exactly what to say. Obviously, not saying things sometimes is even more important. But since you signed up for previous events, you should be getting you should be on my email list, and I have the next event on the 19th of this month, which is I think next Thursday.
Yeah.
And it's an opportunity for, and I'll be going through the expectations as far as being a co-author for my next book.
Okay, all right.
If you're interested. I mean, if you want to write your own book,
Thanks for
obviously.
invite. I am still getting your email about these events, but just a lot of times is my time zone and other, Zoom coaching commitments.
Right. Well, that's a good problem to have, coaching commitments.
Yes, that's right. Mhm.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I had my video off. Let me turn it back on. There we go.
So Daniel, where are you at with your book? And do you have any questions for me? Is there anything I can do to help you out?
No, I'm just trying to follow up things because going through my journal, I got about 50, 60 stories about intercultural faux pas, and then and then another 20, 30 where people excel in their intercultural ability. So that would be kind of like one idea for a book. The other is to rewrite the culture intelligence framework in terms of your 4 skills and the culture values into a more localized context for China and the West.
Got it. So what's your plan for 2023 for that?
Putting the goals together. Putting the whole thing together and giving this a try and maybe stay.
Great. Well, we're here to help you when you need us.
Yep.
Okay. I'm committed to doing these every single week, other than holidays, but I'll be here 48 Tuesdays out of this year to do these meetings. So
okay, no, that's great.
And we're going to keep the Facebook group active too. So if you have questions you want to post in the Facebook group, you can go to town there and post away.
Sure. Great thing. Thank you.
Yep. Well, good to see you again, Daniel.
Yeah, good to see you again and good to meet Jean.
Well, let's see.
Yeah, it's good to see you again, Daniel. Look forward to more connections in 2013, as Josh said, both in this group and at meetup events if you ever find the time.
Yeah, sure. Okay, thank you.
Good to see you, Daniel. And we've got a small group here today, so we may end things a little bit early unless people have more questions. So Olu, Judy, Catherine, Jean, does anybody have more questions? I'm happy to stay here. And
yeah. So it's been a year. Okay. The kind of, it's like the love affair is over with the book. What's some good tactics to reinvigorate excitement? We talked about the giveaway, so I can do that, but and I don't know, I did it not necessarily to make money, but more to open doors, to get it in the hands of prospects. So what do you recommend for that?
One question, Judy, are you running Amazon ads to sell the book on Amazon?
No, not at all. Let me tell you some big mistake I learned. This is for people that haven't published yet. This book is about LinkedIn. It's about LinkedIn methodology. Okay. But nowhere does it say it on the title. It says it in really tiny, tiny thing here. So when you look for like LinkedIn in Amazon books, this doesn't come up. So think about that when people are naming their book. Not that, you have to make sure that that keyword is somehow in there, because it's like, it's not even in the library. We have the library system here. And I looked it up and I said, how come my book's not showing up? Because it's not indexed that way. So, and now in hindsight, I think, when I do another book, I'm going to make real sure that's done right. But
definitely. When I was doing my LinkedIn book, as long as we're talking about LinkedIn books, when I did my LinkedIn book, I thought about that and I made sure I put LinkedIn in there, but I got feedback from somebody, I don't remember who it was, but they said, you need to make LinkedIn the biggest thing on that cover. Wow. And so I really need to thank whoever told me that, because I felt like that alone was a big boost. Because now if you scroll through Amazon and you're looking at book covers, you see this, all you really see is LinkedIn. You just say, oh, there's a blue book and it says LinkedIn. Obviously, that's a LinkedIn book. But yes, I had somebody who gave me some good advice on that.
Would I change? I mean, would it be appropriate to do a second volume? Would I change the cover of the book? I mean, because it says LinkedIn, like, I don't know if you can see it, like itty bitty tiny.
It is pretty tiny up there.
Yes, it is. But I mean, I like the look of this, and this is the methodology, but it's like, I was nervous because of LinkedIn and their trademark
I was
stuff.
nervous about that too. And you know what? I actually, I'm not sure how much I should say here, but when I was publishing through Ingram Spark, they ask you, they say, do you have the rights to use corporate names, trademark names on your book cover? And I had reached out to LinkedIn, and I thought they're not going to respond, and they didn't. And of course, if I talk to a lawyer, the lawyer is always going to say, don't do it. They will, I mean, a lawyer will say, don't do it no matter what it is. And so I thought about it, and I thought, there are all these other books out there that have LinkedIn on the cover. I'm sure these people did not get permission. I did talk to one of those authors, and I said, so how'd you get permission to use LinkedIn on the cover? And she's like, never even occurred to me. I just put it on there. So I just thought, you know what, I'm going to go for this. And if LinkedIn tells me not to do it, then I'll take it off, or I'll figure out what to do. But I'm just going to go for it because I assume that they don't care, or they actually like it, but they put that stuff in the legalese because they have to in order to protect their rights if something comes up that they want to enforce, right? So I just went with it and stuck LinkedIn in on there, and it's worked. If I were in your shoes, I would seriously think about changing the cover and putting LinkedIn really big there. And I mean, it could just be, hold up your cover again. Let me see that. Elevate, expand, engage. I mean, it could be elevate, expand, engage on LinkedIn, and then you could have LinkedIn pretty large there down below. It could be LinkedIn, comma, elevate, expand, engage. Essentially, I mean, just put LinkedIn at the top. But I would seriously think about putting LinkedIn pretty big on there on the cover, because just like you said, if people are scrolling through it, they don't know that it's a LinkedIn book. They know I mean, maybe they can guess that it's social media, but they're not going to know that it's specifically for LinkedIn unless they see that big bold front and center on that cover.
Live and learn, live and learn. The other thing is, at this point, if you make a change on the KDP thing, it's like a whole, if you change the name, you got to go through that whole process again.
That's true.
So,
I know.
right.
It's
So
a bit
I
of
may
a
just wait for
mess,
the second
but
edition. Yeah, if I do a second edition or a follow-up beyond, it could be beyond elevate, expand, engage on LinkedIn.
yeah, I mean, you might just want to do the updated version, right? Just do a second edition, updated edition, and then you can change the title. And then you have to go through the whole mess of releasing a second edition, but you don't have to do all the updating of the first version that way. That might be an option for you.
So maybe an appendix somewhere in your book is lessons learned.
Yes.
Right? Lessons learned, because that was a real valuable one that if I could, do it over again, I would definitely have considered that. So,
but going back to your original question about promoting your book.
Yeah.
First, Jean, did you have something you wanted to say before I talk
I
about Amazon ads?
Yes, I have one question for you and then one for Judy. For you, Josh, on your LinkedIn book, did you consciously use the LinkedIn color too?
Yes, that was conscious because I actually designed it with my personal colors. Oh, yes. I designed it with my personal colors, yellow and black, because my website is yellow and black. I've got yellow and black on Published Author. Like that's kind of my color scheme, my personal color scheme.
Yeah.
Is white, yellow, black. So I designed it with white, yellow, black. And a bunch of people told me, they're like, why are you publishing a LinkedIn book and making the cover white, yellow, and black? Like this has to be a blue cover.
Yeah.
And I was like, but I don't want to do blue. And enough people talked to me and told me this has absolutely got to be blue that finally I gave in. I was like, fine, I'll do a blue cover even though I don't want to. And so that's why I did blue.
Yeah.
So I was pulled kicking and screaming to a blue cover.
And I wanted to ask Judy, when was your book published?
November, what year is this? 23. So right at the end of last year, November 21.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I
'Cause-
actually didn't get copies until February because of the supply chain issue. So,
Yeah, so what I was just gonna throw out an idea because I find it very easy to publish new books. And I don't see any reason why you couldn't have both books published, one with a completely different name, but even though the substance of the two books are actually rather similar.
well, that's interesting. So a different jacket, different name.
Different jacket, different name, and then maybe just change a little bit about the book. If the reason I asked you when it was published, because like, let's say you published 12 months ago, so many things have changed. You could
Right.
actually edit some of the content and update whatever mistakes or things you left out of the original book. It's been so short, there probably isn't anything that you would want to add or change, but if there are, just add another chapter, add another forward, and and if you found any typos, edit those and just publish a completely new book. There's no, it can only help you to have multiple books published. And the fact that they're completely different jackets, completely different covers, nobody's really going to compare the substance of the two books.
Right. Yeah, it's actually not a bad idea. I like that, Gene.
And then
one other-
and then with a new book, you can start a new marketing campaign around that new
Oh,
book that has nothing
I
to do
love
with your
it.
old book.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
That's
Well,
not a bad idea.
it's an excellent idea, Gene. I like that. One other thing, another lesson learned is because it's a business book and it's a resource book, I couldn't find things in here. So I added an index after the fact. So I actually had an indexer go through it and do that. So that's the second thing is if you're going to do a book that's going to be like a resource reference book, the index is really valuable because I couldn't find things in my own book. And it was like, oh my gosh. So
There's a name,
index,
there's a name for your title, LinkedIn Indexed.
ooh, LinkedIn index. You're brilliant. Where are you anyway? What's your background? Where are you there?
My background is intercultural coaching and consulting.
You're brilliant. This
Thank
is really, really helpful. I really appreciate that. Okay. All right. I like this. I like this.
Well, I've known Josh for a long time, and Josh has helped me a lot. So I just always want to try to add 2 cents in to help with the conversations here.
Well, I don't know who Josh is, but I know I've got his book and look at what I've done to it.
You created
I'm
your own
sorry.
index for my book, huh? Now
I
I'm like
did, I
thinking,
did.
I guess I should have put an index in there, huh?
Oh my gosh. So what were you going to say to promote it? What else, Josh? After
So
the
I
fact?
wanted to bring up Amazon ads real quick because
Okay.
I've had good and bad experiences with Amazon ads, but I think anybody can have the good experience. Let me share my screen here. So tell me,
Oh, wow.
you're seeing that, right? Is that too
Yeah.
small? Do I need to?
That looks great.
Okay. So real quick, this is my history with Amazon ads. In October of 2021, I set up my Amazon ads account to sell the LinkedIn book. And I just did it myself. I didn't see any tutorial. I just went in, I started messing around with stuff. And as you can see really quickly, within 1 month, I was doing pretty well in terms of my percentage. I spent $83.77 and I sold $500 worth of books. Now, the cost of printing the books comes out of that. So that has to be factored in. This is not pure profit. This is ad spend. It's sales minus ad spend minus the cost of printing the books. That's my actual profit. But still, this is pretty good. So what Amazon has is if you look over here on the right, there's this ACOS, which is the percentage of your sales that you spend on advertising. And so my ACOS here was below 20%. I was spending less than 20% on my book sales. Now, if I give up 40, 50% to Amazon or 60% or something, then I still come away, I'm making a 20% profit on every sale of those books. So I managed this campaign myself. And the next month, my cost went up a little bit and my sales stayed flat. And then my cost went down a little bit. It just kind of went flat. So in here, I started thinking, well, gee, if I'm spending $150 a month and I'm getting $500 in sales, how do I spend $1,500 and get $5,000 in sales? Or how do I spend $15,000 and get 50,000 in sales? Like, how do I scale this up? That was the problem I was running into, is I could not figure out how to spend more money on ads and get more sales. It just, no matter what I put in my budgets, no matter what I did, I just seemed to be capped, as though that was the total demand for LinkedIn books. But I felt like there's got to be a way to spend more money and get more sales on here. So I found a consultant who seemed qualified and seemed like they knew what they were doing. And I hired them and gave them access to my account. And you can see what happened. This is when I hired the consultant, and month 1 and then month 2, they just tanked my results. And I went to them and I said, right here, you know, when they hit 0, basically, I said, are you trying, like, what are you doing here exactly? Because I was kind of expecting you to get me better results than I was getting on my own, not completely shut down my account. And they said, oh, we won't charge you any money until we start getting better results. Well, then they started getting better results and started telling me, oh, look, we're improving. I'm like, well, yeah, but you're still at like way worse than I was doing on my own. I mean, look back here and compare that to what you're doing. Anyway, they weren't charging me any money. So I thought maybe they'd need a few months to figure this out. Well, finally, we got to August and things weren't getting better. They were just kind of going along, and I fired them in August. So I gave them 6 months and they did a terrible job. And then here's where I took over again and it jumped back up. And of course, December is a down month and we're just starting January. So that's down there. But the point is, I did all this part on my own where the performance was good. Anybody can log into the system. It's really simple to set up. You just put in a bunch of keywords. You can match up other books. So you can say, hey, anybody who is looking at this book, I want my ad to show up when they look at that book. It's a very simple system to manage. And I mean, I was getting really good results with this. Now, of course, I capped out, like I said. However, if you look at my total results over the lifetime of this, I have, let's see, I've sold 268 books. And it didn't cost me a dime because the books paid for the ads. So anything I spent on the ads was paid for by the book sales. So I got 268 extra book sales essentially for free. And while that's not a huge number, considering that the average self-published book sells 250 copies during its entire lifetime, well, at least I've beat that, and it didn't cost me a dime to beat that record. So this is one area you could go where you can't expect amazing, huge results, but you can expect that you're going to sell 10 or 20 books every single month, like clockwork, and it's going to pay for itself doing these Amazon ads. So I would check that out.
And that's where I can get into the keyword issue by putting LinkedIn. I had a question on your pricing. The hardcover I have is $29.99. What were you selling the softcover for?
Oh, let's see what I am doing it for. Share my screen here again. So it looks like,
okay, oh, $19.99 for hardcover. That's interesting because it says $29.99 in the book. Wow.
Yeah. So, well, of course, you've got the book price, but then on Amazon, you always sell it for lower, right? I've experimented with different prices. I've sold it for the full list price on Amazon. I've done it for this cheaper price. The consultant that I hired to do Amazon ads, they messed around with my prices a bit. So I've been up and down. I haven't really seen any huge impact from changing my price. But again, we're talking about a fairly small sample size with my book. I mean, my book is not selling 10,000 copies a month. So I don't have a lot of data to go on with my book. But I priced it to move because really for me, it's not about making money off the book, whether I sell it for $20 or $30. I don't really care. What I care about is that people get the book in their hands and then they're calling me and inquiring about LinkedIn services. So for me, it's just a lead magnet to sell services for my LinkedIn agency. So for me, it's a free marketing tool.
Now, do you also talk about author pages in your program here?
Yeah.
Creating your author page on LinkedIn. Okay. Not on LinkedIn, on Amazon. Okay.
Yep. So do you have any specific questions about that, or?
Well, I've published books in a previous life that are, let me just show you, they're hardcover trade books. That's where that stuff is. I published these books in a previous life. I have 12 of them.
Uh-huh.
But my name was Radice. That's my maiden name. And now my name is Hayes, but Radice Hayes I have there. I'm wondering how to merge those all together because it is me. It's a body of work. So I don't know if you look that up, if it's even showing up, but you know, again, when you're formulating that author page, you know, communicating with Amazon to get them to change something. It's a whole other, like I have the covers of the books and they have like these decoy covers, and I want to send them the art to say, no, I've got the books. Here's the real cover, but I don't know how to communicate that.
So these are other authors. I mean, you're not the author on these books, right?
No, I am. These are my.
You're the author on the books.
Yeah, this was in my previous life. These are hardcover. These are like super architect type books, designer
Okay,
books.
got it.
Yeah. There were trade books. They were selling for like $50 each in the day. This was I call them BC, before child. So I did those before child. So, and my child is 27 today. So
Now so I'm curious here, because I mean, everything on Amazon is self-updated. So help me understand where the challenge is coming in and getting these things updated on Amazon.
they're out of print now. Those books are out of print. So if you type in my name, if you type in Judy, Judi, and then Radice, see what comes up. That's because
Well, I found your author page, but
can you share it so I can see what it is?
yeah.
So, okay, so there's that. So yeah, like no image available. Like, okay, so now there's these images. So there's some of these, like, how do you get Amazon to put the real images on these pages?
Got it. For these currently unavailable ones.
And I have the books. Now I'm not, you know,
Yeah, because
I don't want
because
yeah, but I want to update them so at least it has the covers. Wow, 874, man, things have changed. Back in the day, these were fantastic books back in the day. Really
yeah, so this is an interesting question because you didn't publish these through Amazon and they're not in print.
Actually, Rizzoli, through PBC was the imprint through Rizzoli, so it actually had good distribution. It's probably why it's in Italian.
But,
yeah,
and therein lies the issue, is that the publisher, you're not the publisher, right?
no, and they're
Or
not
are
even
you?
in existence anymore. No, it's PBC is who it was, Pisces Book Company. They're not even around anymore.
Yeah, so that is the challenge right there, is because Amazon says the publisher owns the rights to the book, and so only the publisher can change the cover, right?
Now, I have the copyright to the book.
But you have the copyright.
I own the copyright on all the books. Yeah.
Okay. And you've talked to Amazon and they've given you the runaround, or?
I don't know how to talk to them. How do you even, like, you know, it seems like it's like trying to get service from my bank. I can't get a person.
Okay, got it. All right, so there are email addresses you can email where people will actually respond to, but they don't widely publicize them on the Amazon site.
Clearly.
I don't know it off the top of my head, but I've used it before to get stuff done. So I will dig that up and I will send that to you.
Okay. If you can find it, that's fantastic. Yeah, because it just bothers me because I like things to, you know, since the titles exist and they have that. But okay. Well, I like Jean's idea about republishing the book with a different title. I think that's really doable. But then you have to get a new ISBN and all that. You got to do that whole thing.
Yeah. There is all that.
All right. Nothing's easy. Okay. All right.
But it is easier the more you do it, right? I mean, the first book is so hard, but then the next one you're like, well, I just learned 200 lessons about how not to publish a book. So this time it should be easy, right? It's kind of like running a marathon or something. The second one seems like it should be easier.
I say giving birth, because it's like birthing as you one would experience, you know. It's never how you imagine it. Okay.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah. This is really, really wonderful. What are all those books on your bookshelf? So you've got your books there. What else do you have? I always like to look at people's bookshelves.
I've got lots and lots of books, and this is just a fraction of them, but these are the ones that
Very
are
color-
currently weighing down my bookshelf.
All right, everyone has to have a bookshelf next call.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
Well, great. Well, does anybody else have any other questions, or are we good for today? Are we good to wrap things up?
Thank you.
I think we'll wrap it up then. Judy, it's great to have you on here. Daniel, it's great to see you again. Olu, it was great to meet you.
Thanks,
Gene
Mike.
had to leave for his other meeting, but we will be back here next Tuesday. So bring all your questions and invite your friends because it's free this month. So tell them all about it and have them tune in. Thanks so much, everybody.
All right, be well.
Talk soon.